you've got this incredible, what you call the ice harvesting example. And
Yeah.
I'd love for you to share that with us. And then
Sure.
I'd love to actually apply that to what we were just talking about with the acquisition of knowledge, and just to use it as a bit of a demo to see how other people can think about this concept.
Okay. So the ice metaphor, ice 1.0, ice harvesting, frozen lake, frozen pond, frozen river. You go with a horse, a sleigh, and a saw, and you cut blocks of ice. Sell it to your customers. Ice 2.0, ice factory. Now you freeze water centrally. Doesn't have to be winter. Doesn't have to be a cold city. You can deliver ice that you froze centrally through the ice truck. Ice 3.0 is a refrigerator. Now, no more ice factory, centralized ice. Now you have distributed ice. You have your own ice factory. And well, one of the interesting things is nobody really went from ice harvester to ice factory to refrigerator company, because most organizations define themselves in terms of what they already do, as opposed to the benefit they provide. So to switch examples quickly, if you believe that you're in the business of applying chemicals to a plastic film that's exposed to light, then you don't embrace digital photography and you die like Kodak. So you have to remember that the person who's taking pictures is trying to preserve memories. Whether you preserve memories with chemicals on film, chemicals on paper, or a digital sensor should not matter. You're in the preservation of memories business. Just like with ice, you're in the business of convenience and cleanliness. You're not in the business of cutting up rivers or freezing water centrally or even making refrigerators. You're in the business of cleanliness and convenience.
And if these companies had mantras instead of mission statements, do you think they would have figured that out?
I don't know about that. That might be a little bit of a leap, but it certainly would have helped.
Because when you speak about it, it sounds so obvious.
Well, that's what makes a good speaker.
So when we think about the acquisition of education or the acquisition of knowledge, how would you think about, how do people who are currently in that business of helping humans and sapiens acquire knowledge think about this in a way so that they don't lose on the next innovation curve?
Yeah. So and believe it or not, for all the pain and suffering and tragedy the pandemic has caused, it has also caused something positive, which is that if you defined education as a concrete building with a chalkboard in the front, with a teacher, with a classroom full of kids sitting there in chairs, well, the pandemic blew all that up, right? So education is, for better or for worse, for 18 months was Zoom. And so if you define education as a concrete classroom, well, that was education maybe 1.0, but education 2.0 was certainly, well, let's say education 2.0 was personified by the Khan Academy, crowdsourced, et cetera, et cetera. Education 3.0 is characterized by Zoom. And I think that's a very important concept, that the physical plant, the concrete classroom is not the key to education.